running the manufacturing, where Crystal and I are helping people, and Crystal is an exceptional iridologist, and which gives us a great, wonderful tool, especially with her particular talents and gifts at really being a great iridologist, as well as a massage therapist and an herbalist. So having a daughter like that helps.
Let me ask you, I've got this text that's just coming. I'm going to ask you a question, and then I want to go over and get some information on iridology and from Crystal. This text is coming, and I don't even know if I can pronounce this again, but I'm going to try. It says, does Dr. Truman know of Codex Alimentarius?
Yes. Yes.
Why was it allowed, and why don't we know more about it?
Oh,
what is that, Dr. Truman?
Well, the Codex Alimentarius is where the governments have gotten together, and with all the pharmaceutical money pushing it, that they are basically outlawing herbs and so that you can't make any claims. You can't even use herbs or sell herbs. That's what that is. It's an organization that has been formed by various nations, and they've come together, and they're all for pharmaceutical poison drugs and all against natural remedies, and that's their agenda. So it's and the reason you don't hear about it, because it's covert. It's another underhanded method by special interest groups to push drugs and get rid of herbs altogether, and all natural remedies. Actually, that's what that is.
Codex Alimentarius.
Yep, Codex Alimentarius. Yes.
Okay, let's say hello, Crystal. Thank you for your patience. Hello, yes. Hiya. Thank you for your patience. Crystal, Dr. Truman was telling us a bit about your background and the iridology that you practice. Can you tell us a bit about what iridology is, how you came to get involved in that, and what actually how can that help somebody?
Well, I actually, because my father was a master herbalist, when I was a teenager, he did let me know about herbs and how they work, and I was able to travel with him to various places. And one of the places that I traveled to, I was able to get an iris analysis, and they were able to tell me things about me that I was very surprised that I knew about myself that nobody else would know, but this iridologist did. And it fascinated me, and it also helped me to understand things that I could do preventatively to keep my body healthy as I was getting older. I was only 13, 15 at the time, so still a very impressionable age, and it made a strong impact on me to keep my body healthy, as well as the things that my father was teaching me, and being around other naturopathic doctors and herbalists. And so because of that, I was able to keep myself relatively healthy. I've never had any serious health problems such as my father had, and so I was able to keep things under wraps, although the eyes had told me that I did have good kidneys, and there was a time that I was not taking care of myself as well as I should have, and I had started to get kidney problems. And so remembering back to that iris diagnosis that I had received, stating that I had kidney weakness, which is a genetic trait, that it again just reiterated, there's something to this, and I wanted to know Chinese. It used to be many years, and then in the late 1800s, Ignaz von Helmstein, he was looking in an owl's eye as he was, it was his pet, and as he was playing around with it, broke the leg, and he was looking into the eye, then he broke his leg, and he saw a mark right at the 6 o'clock part of the eye, as it broke, it got black, right in that same spot. And then as it healed, that same black marking got lighter as the healing process, and it fascinated him as a boy. And from there, he was able to, as an intern doctor, look around at different patients, and from there, he got his first charge, and the history starts going on from there. There's wonderful iridologists here in Europe, United States.
We're missing some of, sorry, Crystal, we're missing some of what you think. As you speak, there is quite a loud humming noise in the background, and I've got a text saying that I'm finding it difficult to hear you, and there are a lot of what you're saying that I know is very interesting. And it's like a humming, it sounds like you're actually on America, and on a small
Well, I'll switch gears here and see that I can help with the clarity. Hang on a second. Is that any better?
Yes, that's much better.
Yes.
Yeah, that's much better, Crystal. So can I rewind these then?
Okay, so are you able to hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, can I rewind you? Because when you were saying about iridology being something that came from the Chinese, and something that was done many years ago.
Yes, and then Ignaz von Helmstein in the 1850, 1860, he was able to create a first chart based on some markings that he would analyze in different patients' eyes. Because as a child, he was able to, he was playing with a pet owl, broke its leg and saw a marking at the 6 o'clock marking right in his eyes, and that fascinated him, and so he decided he wanted to look at everybody's eyes and see what that, broken bones and surgeries, they had all different markings in those areas reflectively that related to the different areas of the body. And so from there, we've got some other famous iridologists, Joseph Guest, John Andrews is actually and Daniele Laurito, those are current iridologists there in Europe. There's Hart Jensen here in the United States. Her father-in-law, his chart is the most widely used chart in iridology today. So it's a fascinating science, but what's more than that is it helps the person gain control of their health.
And what kind of, is there machines or something that's needed to be able?
It's actually very non-invasive. I just take a camera and I'm able to take a digital picture of your eyes, and then use the charts and other, just looking at the eyes with the different markings based on where they're at. So there's basically three main constitutions of the eye colors. There's blue, there's hazel, and there's brown. So based on those, there's general tendencies that come along with those. For example, if you have blue eyes, or what color eyes do you have?
Brown.
You have brown. So brown eyes typically have innate tendencies to stick blood. They have more intestinal, gastrointestinal, pancreatic, even cardiovascular. So things like anemia or other blood disorders, things with the heart, or things with the digestional tract.
So just based on eye color alone, you can say that there's usually quite standard elements that go with eye color.
Correct. Yes. People with blue eyes
children as well as adults?
That's a good question. The eyes are, because of the genetic blueprint of our bodies, they're usually set by the time we're 6 years old.
Okay.
And then, so the traits that we have received, they do not change. Even if we change our diet in that, the eye color and the markings in there may not necessarily change. They'll change slightly, but not dramatically. So, but if we've had drugs, if we've had surgeries, if we've had traumatic experiences in our life, because it's also based on an emotional level as well as a physical level. So they all create markings and that in the eyes. And once they're there, they don't necessarily go away, because once we've made those changes, then it's a reminder to where our bodies can go back to if we go back to our old habits.
And is this iridology classed as alternative medicine?
Yes. I can also use it in conjunction with people that are under a doctor's care. For example, I had a client come to me that had pancreatic cancer, and from the sclera, which is the white part of the eyes, I was able to help them to determine that they actually had a fungal infection that they did not know about. And when I found that out, there's different types of fungal infection. I'm not able to tell you which kind that is. So I was able to send her back to her doctor and have her doctor do tests to find out which type of systemic fungal infection she had to help her in her, so that she could actually have a better chance of feeling better and maybe even getting in a remission of this pancreatic cancer.
And then, so a quick one, with regard to the sclerology and the iridology, okay, you talked about the pupil and then the whites of the eyes, yeah?
Yes.
And they both, in such a tight and close proximity, can tell different things. So the whites are telling you one thing, and the pupils are what? Confirming that or telling something different?
They not only confirm, but the sclera will tell you what's happening right now. The sclera, when you have those red lines in your eyes, when there's a lot of red lines going on, that person usually is not feeling up to their best. And so it's actually telling you what's going on right now, as well as the genetic traits that you picked up, and it does confirm what's going on in the iris. And it also, and they're called reaction fields. Mm-hmm. So whatever markings that I see in the different areas are reaction fields to that part of the body, because it is mapped out. They are mapped.
When you have, a common one is sometimes when people say, okay, I've got my bloodshot.
You have a what?
You know, when I don't know the term that I might use in the States, but you know that when you sometimes just get a red dot in your eye, and they call it bloodshot.
Okay.
Is that? Go on.
Well, you know, sometimes people will have, for example, there's a term, I'm not sure too much about that particular term, but there is one that's called a pterygium, where part of the redness actually grows over into the iris, and that's actually more of a, from either somebody being in the wind or, you know, kind of an injury to the eye. And so that doesn't necessarily tell me that they're having a lot of problems, but it is something that it's more of an injury and it can be irritating. So I can determine if it's an injury or if it's more internal and actually dealing with the organ. There's another term called panguicula, which is a yellow or white gelish spot usually in the medial part of the eye that would be close to the nose, you know, to the inside of the eye, and it's close to the iris, when people see that in their eyes, it's usually either liver or